Alright, I'm going to do a rundown of version 4.2 patch notes. In this patch, we're going to be getting a new assault rifle. It's going to be Fortnite's take on the FAMAS, basically. It's going to have epic and legendary variants, and it's going to be found in floor loot, treasure chests, supply drops, and vending machines. So those are the same places you can find the Scar already. So it sounds like it's going to be pretty similar or pretty on par with the Scar as far as the rarity goes and how you're going to be able to find it. Um, let's go down a little bit lower. This is Save the World stuff. I'm not going to go over Save the World. There are general changes. Standard gamepad configuration has been renamed to from standard to old school. So this seems to me like they're going more towards the Combat Pro and the Builder Pro, which are the two new configurations that they've added since the standard one, both of which are dramatically better. I personally use Builder Pro. Really recommend Builder Pro to especially anyone playing on console. Slightly increase the texture streaming pool on Xbox One to prevent blurry textures from occurring. That's great. Anything that improves any sort of lag or loading of textures, anything like that is great, especially for console players because they can't have a real beefy PC. Change the button mapping for PS4 controllers on Mac to use touchpad instead of share button to open. I'm not familiar with how the PS4 controller works as far as opening the share button and stuff like that. Fixed an issue where mouse cursor would be hidden on the loading screen for Windows and Mac players. Fixed several causes of rubber banding when toggling sprint and weapon targeting, which were caused by bugs within those abilities. Hopefully that means it makes either sprinting a little bit easier to toggle on, or it fixes any sort of lag with rubber banding. Uh, Fixed text labels being inconsistent on all controller layouts. That doesn't seem very significant. Uh, Fix the time spent in match text not updating properly for party members. Again, not super significant. Known issues. Um, Wanting to track top community issues, head on over to the Fortnite Community Issues Trello board. I'm not going to click on this, but if you haven't checked out the Trello board yet, and you are wondering if there's any bugs that Epic may or may not be aware of, please check this out. They do an excellent job posting the stuff that they're working on and stuff that they're aware of. Okay, Battle Royale weapon changes. Alright, this is the good stuff. Added epic and legendary burst rifle. We knew that up above. We talked about where it could be found. Does 32 to 33 damage. Epic and legendary, depending on which one. So that's pretty close to what the Scar does. I believe the Scar is 36, so this is going to be a little bit less damage than the Scar. But if it's like other FAMASs and other games, it's probably going to be like a 3-round burst. So maybe that the burst aspect of it will make up for the slightly less damage. Uses medium ammo. That is the same ammo as all the other rifles, so that's expected. Uses the same damage fall off as other rifles, that's expected as well. Added a new forged item, apples. Consuming an apple will grant 5 health up to 100, can uncommonly be found around certain trees throughout the map. So this is great. I think that anytime they add healing items to the game, it's good. It helps players that, are new top off their health so they can maybe live a little bit longer, lets them find more stuff to heal up. Also, if they add anything that helps you get from 75 health up to 100, that's really good because bandages only get you up to 75. Anything that can top you off is great. It doesn't say if you'll be able to stack apples. I imagine you will. So that means 5 apples and some bandages, you'll be able to get up to 100 health. So we'll have to see how that works. Impulse grenade drop rate has been increased by 5%. If you like impulse grenades, that's awesome. I have a friend who really likes them, so that's good. Suppressed submachine gun, damage increased by 3. Common is now 20, was 17. Uncommon is now 21, was 18. Rare is now 22, was 19. Increased accuracy, reset speed by 25%. This will decrease the penalty during continuous fire. So, they're buffing, what they're doing is they're making the suppressed SMG just do a little bit more damage and make it so that you don't have as much of an accuracy penalty when you are just continuously firing. Increased damage fall off range. Fall off range begins at 28 meters, was 24. Damage was reduced by 85%, etc. Okay, so basically what this is saying is you're going to not experience damage fall off. Your damage won't be reduced if you're really far away, um, up to 28 meters. So it was 24. You're going to be able to hit people a little bit farther away for the same amount of damage as if you were up close, and it's going to fall off at a slightly reduced rate. So that's good. To me, so this whole change here, all this SMG changes, this to me seems like a reaction to people asking them to remove this from the game. Um, it seems like they want to see if they can maybe buff it, make it a little bit better, get people to start using it before they just, jump the gun and remove it right away. So hopefully that works. Hopefully people start using it more and they don't have to remove it. We'll have to see. Damage trap. Decreased damage from 125 to 75. Reset time decreased from 6 seconds to 5 seconds. This is a big deal. Before a single spike trap, if you were at just 100 health with no shields, you could get down. I know a lot of people that drop tilted. They throw spike traps all over tilted, and it's pretty easy to just accidentally, run into one in those buildings if you're not really paying attention. And if it did over 100 damage, you only have 100 health, you're done, you're out of the game. So this is going to mean that you're going to take a pretty significant hit from a spike trap, but at least if you only have health, you won't get down. So that's good. I'm sure that's going to make a lot of people happy. Remote explosives. They will now damage all structures within range, whether or not they are visible from the explosion center. Damage radius and throw distance have been increased. Delay between sequential explosions has been reduced from 0.25 seconds to 0.175 seconds. Delay before detonating a charge or throwing another one has been reduced from 0.75 seconds to 0.15 seconds. Removed the delay between swapping to a grenade and ability to aim it. So what this means is you're going to be able to throw your C4 farther. It's going to explode in a radius not just on the surface, and like in front of the surface that it's stuck to. So that might mean if you throw it on the wall of like a 1x1 base, maybe it'll destroy all 4 walls. We'll have to test that and see. Being able to throw it farther, I think, is really good. One of the issues with C4 to me was that you had to be really close to use it. It seemed like it was something they wanted you to use to destroy bases, but by the time you got that close to a base, you're probably going to be using shotguns, and most good players weren't even going to let you get that close to begin with. So if you can throw it far enough, maybe we'll start seeing C4 get used. The explosion, let me see this again, let me read it. Between sequential explosions has been reduced from 0.25 seconds. So maybe that means you can throw them and explode them a lot quicker. That's kind of cool. Delay before detonating a charge and throwing another one. So this means you're going to be able to like just throw them, detonate a little bit quicker. So to me, this change, so both this change to the remote explosives and this one up here to the suppressed submachine gun, both those to me seem like things they're trying to buff the weapon a little bit so that maybe people start using it before they just remove it from the game. Hopefully it works. Hopefully the changes are enough to get people to start using it. We don't want to, we want the stuff that Epic adds to the game. We want it to be good. We want people to use it. With remote explosives, that's a new item. We don't want to see them add new stuff to the game, it not work out, and then them have to remove it, because that's, a waste of their development time. They could have added a different gun, they could have worked on something else. So hopefully, these changes make them better enough that people start picking them up. We'll have to see. These are just a couple bug fixes. Fix an issue where it could destroy the remote explosives, could destroy the meteor in Dusty Depot. That's, nothing significant. Let's see, fix me. Gameplay. Let's go to gameplay. Added auto pickup option for pickups on PC and consoles. This will automatically pick up weapons, consumables when walking over them, as long as inventory slots are still empty. They will be placed in the next available inventory slot. This option can be enabled in the settings menu. So I believe this option's been in the settings for a while. I've had it on, but it never seemed to do much for me. I like that, maybe they maybe it's going to start, working now and it'll pick up stuff. I wish they would take this a step farther and make it so that if you had, say, a green rifle and a blue rifle was on the ground, it would automatically, pick up the blue rifle as long as it was the same type. That'd be pretty cool. That would definitely help new players when they're running through a big loot pile to just automatically grab the stuff that's, the best or better than what they have. It would have to make there would have to be something there so that if you had a fully loaded rifle and a better version was on the ground but it was an empty clip, it wouldn't automatically switch that, because that could be frustrating. But I could see them even improving that a little bit more. Let's keep going. Fixed an issue with where turbo building would stop if you pressed another button before releasing the other. I had that happen to me a few times where I'd be building stuff and all of a sudden it would just stop building. So that's great. Any sort of bug fixes that help with building are phenomenal. Fix an issue allowing players to bypass weapon equip times after canceling a consumable use animation. I didn't know people were doing that, but it doesn't surprise me. People love finding animation canceling stuff in this game, just like the double pump. Just animation canceling all over the place. Players can no longer crouch to the vents of the research facility in Dusty Divot. I saw a video on Reddit, so that's good that they fixed that. Fix an issue causing door prediction to get stuck and make it so players could never open doors. Glad they're fixing it. Didn't even know it was a problem. Fixed an issue that caused an incorrect display of selected cosmetic items in the lobby. Good fix. Doesn't seem, never really noticed it. Patched up a hole in the terrain near Lucky. Maybe, I don't know what that was, but good. Fixed an issue that made chests appear to be unopened when they had already been looted. That's great. Any sort of fixes regarding chests looking like looking like they're there when they're actually open are great. I know that this was an issue before in an earlier version where they fixed it. I did have it happen to me, I think, like once or twice in this past patch cycle, where you'd see a chest, it would look like it hadn't been opened, but as you got closer, it turned out that it was. So, and that can be really frustrating. So getting that fixed, that's good. I'm glad they're fixing that. Fixed an issue allowing players to sprint at full speed in a section of the Loot Lake water. Didn't know people were doing that, but I'm glad they're fixing it. Improved overall performance. Improved overall server performance. The server tick rate has been increased from 20 to 30 updates per second. So that's good. That means it's going to update, more and more. This allows for more responsive movement and shooting and reduces effective ping times for all players. Network bandwidth has been increased slightly. Improved material loading by 2 times, which should help building and characters stream in faster and reduce hitching. Fixed large hitches that occurred when cosmetic items were encountered for the first time in a match. Improved frame rate when using hop rocks by optimizing its particle effect. Fixed remote players appearing to jump far too high when their connection went bad or there was a server hitch. So all these changes are great. I love that Epic, it seems like every patch we get, they're always doing stuff to improve the servers, improve the performance. It's great. This one right here strikes me as being very big. The improved material loading by 2 times. That's going to be a big deal in places like Tilted Towers, where you get a lot of structures. You start getting people building up in there, and it can get pretty crazy. It can be hard for the people to load in when they get close to it. It can cause a little bit of hitching, a little bit of lag. So any sort of fixes like that are just great. Anything that removes frustration from players is just good stuff. To help differentiate audio, to help differentiate between above and below footstep sounds, we've added an additional layer to steps that are above you based on the surface, or additional layer of sounds, I'm assuming, to steps that are above you based on the surface type. Wood has creaks, stone has crunches, plus gravel noises, metal has rattles. That's great. That means you're going to be able to tell if people are in a base above you or below you, even better. It's awesome. I love the sounds in this game. Are really simple, but they tell you a lot as far as like where people are, what weapons they have. Everything's really easy to differentiate between, so that's good. That seems like that's going to be a really good change. I know a few patches ago they they made it so that your teammates like their footsteps volume was lower than an enemy's. That was it seemed like a small thing, right? But in places or bases that got really like built up, or in busy towns like Tilted, it was a big deal. It lets you really know if you had enemies around you or teammates. This seems like, just a step above that. You're going to be able to tell if people are above you or below you. That's really good. Lower the volume of the weak points that appear when harvesting. That's a big deal on metal. I know metal can get really loud when you're swinging at metal and make it so you can't hear other stuff. Boosted the volume of grenade launcher explosions to more closely match volume of other explosions. Cool. That's good, I guess. Improved how wind fades out prior to landing when using a glider. Okay, that's good too, I guess. Fixed an issue that would cause audio to cut out on elimination. I never had that, but I'm glad they fixed it for people that did. Fixed an issue that would cause a spectated player's footsteps, jumps, lands to sound like they were to the left, right if they were moving, especially when looking through a scope. Didn't know about that, but again, bug fixes are good. Any sort of little bug fixes are good. UI. Emoting in the lobby can now be triggered by clicking the right analog stick. That's awesome. So you're going to be able to shortcut your emotes. It means we're going to get more dancing in the lobby. Always a good thing. Added an emote button to the bottom of the screen. Added an emote button to the bottom of the screen while in lobby. Again, just making it a little bit easier to emote. NVIDIA Shadow Play highlights now defaults to off, PC only. So, if you have NVIDIA Shadow Play highlights and you like those, don't forget to turn them back on. Now they're going to be off, apparently. Bug fixes. Fixed an issue that prevented map input from working while spectating. Fixed an issue where teammate map indicators wouldn't display during a match. Fixed an issue that prevented the consume timer from displaying while consuming a hop rock. Fixed an issue that caused the trap placement UI to display while looking at surfaces that do not allow trap placement. Fixed an issue where the minimap arrow wouldn't display properly while spectating a player. So a couple things that jump out at me here that are kind of cool is the fixed an issue that prevented map input from working while spectating. That seems like people that die early, they're going to be able to put down points on like little pings on the map to suggest like places to go. So that'll be interesting. More backseat gaming, making it easier for people to backseat game, tell the people alive what to do. Always a frustrating and good experience. And the other one that jumps out at me is fixed an issue that prevented the consume timer from displaying while consuming a hop rock. That's awesome, but I hope that this is not just hop rocks and is also for reviving players. I know in this last patch, if you tried to revive someone a lot of times, the meter wouldn't start to charge. So hopefully that isn't just hop rocks. Hopefully that's, all those hold X to open, their hold X to revive also fixes that. But yeah, art and animation. Let's go through a couple other ones here. Art and animation. Fixed an issue that allowed sprays to affect objects that moved, player-worn bushes, soccer balls, etc. Fixed an issue that caused Battlehound's pants to clip through his tunic when running. Alright, good. Replay system. Excuse me. Replay system. Fixed an issue where eliminations wouldn't show up in the replay browser. That's good. Mobile. HUD customization added. This is version 1.0. We'll continue to build this out. So that's great. Any sort of help for mobile players is good. I know that it can be frustrating or hard, difficult to play on a small screen. So anything they do to help those guys out is great. Added an optimization that limits the number of sprays rendered at once. Again, just helping out mobile players so that they don't have to load as much stuff. That's good as well. So yeah, I'm not going to go over the Save the World stuff, but that's everything Battle Royale related for patch 4.2. If you liked this video, please let me know. If there's any suggestions you have for me, leave a comment down below. Tell me. And yeah, check me out. I stream on Mixer once in a while. So I'm trying to do it more every day if we can. And yeah, take care.